it's good to be able, and you tell the kids, this needs to look good. How do we market things? This is our audience. We're not talking about the kids in the class. We just have it normal. But we've got people coming who haven't been before. What should we do? Well, we better get the banners out, Mrs. Livia. We haven't got a STEM one. We better get on and design and organise one of those. And and everything we do, so when we make beeswax wraps, they're on the Spotlight website picking out all the fabric, ordering on, click and collect so I can go down and get it, so they feel that's the key to the whole process, is getting the kids to do everything. Like even... You even heard us at lunchtime. They were like, we'll just get the kid. What are we thinking? Because we're so used to teachers doing it all. When the kids can do it. Those kids know how to use the technology better than us. We don't have time to interview every kid. Outsource it. Yeah. Where you can. And one thing that I suppose with the STEM thing is having those difficult children. People say, how do you manage group work? Easy. Because they're engaged. They want to do it. So I had my entire class in there for the whole time there today, and they were all delegated out to different stalls, just the stuff. My class has probably done about 8 of those things that are down there, so I just divided 3 8s 24 and a couple of leftovers to do runners and stuff, so I don't have to worry about them running amok because they're too busy doing their job. So that's a really good selling point. And when we go to those conferences, and people often ask about that, and I say it's about the engagement. If you pick something that they've got buy-in, if you do all the work, there's no buy-in.
So this year you've done the beeswax paper.
Beeswax wraps was the main thing. Because we did FOGO, we did Flora FOGO, that's right, and we got Alice back, and we went through the bins again, and we still worked out that we were saving 50% of our rubbish was not going to landfill. That was great. But when we went through the bins, all food, because it's school, right? Like kids chuck their sandwiches or something. We've got to do something about this, so that's what we got the FOGO bin in.
What's FOGO stand for?
Food, organics, and garden organics. Yeah, so that's how we got the FOGO.
So that was this year?
Yeah, and when we went through FOGO, when we went through the recycling bin, there was, landfill. So we got most of the rubbish into recycling, into FOGO, and we went through the landfill bin again. It's all clip seal bags and Glad Wrap. And the kids said, we've got to do something about this. This is just going straight to landfill, because they've been watching War on Waste and all that. So they know this is not good. Yeah. So that's when they went, there's got to be an alternative. So, of course, in computers, we have our one lab lesson a week where you all get the computers up. We go, righto, try and find a solution. We've got an hour. We need to come up with about 10 different ideas so we can pursue this. So off we go. And we found beeswax wraps. And then someone said, we should make these. How do you make them? I don't know. What's in them? So off they went.
So it's the solution to Glad Wrap.
Yeah, we say an environmentally friendly packaging to Glad Wrap, an alternative to plastic packaging. It's on the little... I'll give you one. I'll give you all that stuff before you go.
Cool.
It's on.
So where did the idea come from? Or this was brainstorming and they came up with...
So they're trying to solve one...
You've got to have a problem.
Yeah. But it was in some sense related to the other.
Yes, it's all been linked. So the kids, I've got 5 students that were in my class last year and this year, which has been heaven, because they've helped train up their next group. I mean, it'd be lovely as a teacher to have the same class for 2 years. It just doesn't happen. So you build up all these skills and on they move. But my theory is they're life skills. They're not... they're not actually. Well, they are STEM skills, but this is the beauty of STEM. And so off they went and made we thousands of maths lessons trying to work out the size. How big should they be? How long do they last? Are they as good as foil? What do you do with the FOGO wrap once it's had its day? Well, we worked out that after about 3 months you can refresh it just by ironing it between baking paper, and then when it's totally dead, it goes into your FOGO bin. Then they went, well, we can put Flora on the business card. Then we talked about what should be on a business card. So in class, we are students at the desk, the one computer, and they are designing on Vistaprint or whatever what should be on that card. So the kids know what's on that card because they wrote it. No, that word's too long, that someone won't understand it. And then, we had to work out, well, we just want key points. It's a business card this big and people want to know how to use it. We can't write a story here. So, of course, then we have to go in all the English side of, how to write a recipe and all that sort of stuff. But the maths was huge because we had to look at how many metres of material we needed, what size we're going to cut it, what size hold the sandwich, what size holds this, all the size and stuff. And money. We have no money. So when people say, how do you afford to do this? Well, make sure I talk about JB Hi-Fi. We don't really have money. We're like every other public school, so you just got to be a bit resourceful. So I think we sort of, the school gave us a bit of money and then we've earned it all back by selling beeswax wraps or books or whatever it may be. It's sort of self-funded. We did get a $400 grant last year, which paid for the first lot of books, and that is it. And we wrote to them. I encourage the kids and have taught them how to apply for a grant. So they get on, and we got a grant for $150 from Rotary and $100 from here, and a few small community people. And then when we had that STEM night that I was talking about today, a bloke come along and said, I've got beeswax for you, do not buy any more. So he donated all the beeswax. And so it's sort of who you know.
Yeah.
So in all the recipe writing and measuring, we had to work out what's the best recipe to use. So at the moment, it's 200 grams beeswax, half the amount of resin and 2 tablespoons of thing. But they need to know if you ask the students in the class, they know, we need the jojoba oil because it makes it pliable. You need the resin because it makes it sticky. We had to work all this stuff out. It was huge. And then how much do you sell them for? And the kids going, these are expensive. And when they looked them up on the internet, they're $50, $60. And so little Gemma comes today and said, I had someone complain that they're $20 for a 3-pack. And I told him, I'll tell you what, we've researched this and you can buy this size, buy that size on the internet and the cheapest, and she knew the answer. So she knows what she's on about. And they know because they did it, not because I said let's make them $20. So we spent 2 maths lessons working out what the price should be. Yeah, and all that's your learning. That's your learning. And I think it's sort of their kids just thrive on it. It's not like we've got to do STEM and they'll go, not one person. They're like, right, what are we doing? They're excited. Yeah.
Where to next?
I don't know yet. I have to wait to see what the kids want to drive. We did get on the 10-cent bandwagon. Yeah. So that's all come out since then. That's a this year initiative. Yeah. And we call that the 10-cent challenge. Yeah. And it was the 10-cent JB Hi-Fi challenge because we wrote to JB Hi-Fi and said, listen guys, we want spherables because they were in my class last year. Yeah. You guys lent us the spherables. We're like, we want these. And I said, well, guys, they were $200 each, but we got the little ones. Yeah. That sell for $80. So I said, well, how are we going to get 80 times 15? Because we decided you need at least one between 2, and they worked all the maths out and how much it's going to cost. We're all like this. And then they decided, well, we're starting to earn these 10-cent containers, and we were raising about $40 a week with nothing to do with the money. So then we worked out, well, it's going to take us this amount of weeks. And then Gemma pipes up and says, let's write to JB Hi-Fi. So then I told them how to write an email, how to write a letter. Off we sent it to JB Hi-Fi. Listen, we're a small country school trying to, da-da-da. Anyway, the manager was great. And he was like, we got this. You can have more for cost price, blah, 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 blah. So we did up a big, the big thermometers, and JB Hi-Fi basically gave us the first 400. And then each week at assembly, when it's our assembly, the JB Hi-Fi tally is at. And then about beginning of last term, we'd reached the goal. We got them out for the STEM night when all the parents said, so all the kids wanted to come to use the spherables. So they gave us about a third and we raised the rest. So that's been done and dusted, and we actually have just done a school survey to see what's going to happen with the next lot of money because we want the kids, otherwise they're not going to do it. Yeah. So all the kids, it's become a bit autonomous now. They're not even doing it to fundraise, it's just natural. You put this in there, all the milk cartons and stuff. And they also interviewed the canteen. And they went over there and got the canteen manager to change all the foods over so that they were 10 cents compliant. And she only uses recyclable materials, and she is brilliant because we researched with her. She came and brought us all her problems and said, can that come up with a solution? And so we wrote away to all these companies. We got sample packs and tried and tested them all and everything. And so we've changed the canteen as well. I forgot to mention that. But so JB Hi-Fi did come on board and they helped us out a bit there. So that's how we got spherables. So they are 15 of them are solely just paid for out of the 10-cent challenge for term 1 and 2. And then we're probably in credit right now while we gather what we're going to do with the next lot. Yeah.
You made a comment at lunch or earlier that you only had one computer.
Yeah.
But now this year, you've got heaps of computers. Where did they all come from?
Okay, so Kerry, our principal's been on leave for a few years. She's just come back this year. So our expenditure was probably not up where it normally is because we were a bit grey area about where we were up to. But we must have had a rollout or something, and what would normally go to the lab, we're trying to integrate into the classrooms. Yeah. So we actually, at the beginning of this year, might have been in the last year, at the beginning of this year, we got 15 laptops on a trolley for our stage. So that's 1 between 2.
Yep.
for the day you get them. So what we've done is like I get laptops on a Wednesday. So it's laptop day and we try and put all of our stuff on one day, which isn't really enough, but we're not complaining. One between two.
Better than nothing.
One between, so we've got 15